Change. A perfect time to change his direction is when he's starting to look out this way. He's not even worried about the tarp. Now, if I start flapping the tarp around, he might worry about it, right? But he keeps looking out at his gate, out at Ronald. He hasn't seen him all night long, so he's pretty upset. Good. Now I want you to stop him and turn and walk away. And turn and walk away. Fast, quickly. There you go. Nice. He's going to follow you. And I want you to walk away from a gate. So about in the middle of the arena. And then pet on him and love on him. So stop there. That's good. Good. So I know I sprung that one on you. But we work where he wants to be. That's where he keeps telling you, I want to be over there. Okay, fine. Let's work over there. But we're not going to rest over there. I've had many people argue with me, well, they're still going to go out in their pasture. Well, yeah, that's their free time. This is their working, this is when they need to be in class, right? Come to class is what you're saying. So when he's looking out there, he's not in class with you, okay? He needs to pay attention to you when you're with him. And then when he gets to be free with his buddies, there's the right way to do that. And then you let him off, right? Turn and walk away, and now he gets to have his playtime. Oh my goodness. But right now, it's come to class time, okay? So we work them where they want to be. We take them away and rest them. So rub on him. Ask him to even lower his head. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Slow blink, closing his eyes. Good. This is the horse you want. And clearly he still has plenty of energy because all he's trying to do there is play with the rope. I mean, he's a goofy. I like goofy, but I also need pay attention, right? All right. So now, for the sake of moving on, this is something that's a big correction. That was him actually opening his mouth and nibbling on your jacket. Was he going to bite you? Probably not, but let's say yes. That's a big correction. He's anxious enough and goofy enough to want to bite on the rope, to bite on you, nibble on you, maybe we should say. But again, if you notice, he keeps looking back over there. So last week when I worked him, the first time he'd look back over there, I'd put him back to work, okay? And then we'd work over there and we'd come back and rest. By the end, he wasn't even looking over there. And it wasn't out of fear of me working him. It was relaxed. I'm not worried about that anymore, okay? So, but for the sake of moving on, I'm going to take a hold of him and we're going to go over to the tarp.
Okay. So whenever he like nibbles and stuff, do I just like jerk him and move him back?
Yeah, I would probably back him up. So right here, if he were to do that to me, I'm not going to correct him hard because he didn't. But I'd probably say, nope, maybe give him a couple little bumps, just little, and then back him up. This is why I don't want him in my space like I talked about earlier. He wants to be right on top of me. This, I'm fine with. When he's on top of me, he's checking my jacket out. He's taking his nose across my head. He's just fidgety. He shouldn't be fidgety while on top of me, okay? So he needs to understand he doesn't have to be babysat. He can be by himself for a minute, right? But this is by himself, that's what I mean. But fidgety, he might always be, but that doesn't mean he has to be that way with you, okay? So I'm going to take him over here because I'm not worried about the tarp. I'm excited about the tarp. We're going to have a fun day today. Now he's worried about the tarp, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is somewhat ignore him. I'm just going to walk with it, and I'm asking him to follow it, okay? I can tell he's avoiding it, right? He's kind of hiding behind me a little bit. But when a horse follows something they're afraid of, that will build their confidence, okay? So, but I'm not letting him avoid it. I'm not letting him hide behind me. And then I'll stop, and I'm not worried about it. See how he's worried about it? I'm not worried about it. Now, am I going to take this and throw it at him? No. I know better. I know how he's acting enough to know that if I did that, I'd ruin that little bit of confidence I'm starting to build. So I'm going to slightly ask him to come towards me. I'm not going to force it, okay? I can force it, and eventually he'd be okay with it. But in his case, he's telling me, I don't like this. That doesn't mean I'm going to back away from it or take it away because he's uncomfortable. I want him to build his confidence and learn that if he's scared of something and he comes towards it because he can trust me, trust you, then it'll be okay and it'll actually go away. As long as he's attentive to this, then he can look at it, snort at it, sniff it. But as soon as he loses his attention, then I'm going to ask him to maybe come closer to it. Because right there, Ronald sees it too. He's like, oh my God. He's apparently doesn't like tarps either. But as soon as he lost his attention to Ronald, I asked him to come a little bit closer, right? So now I'm going to take it away, and we're going to follow it again. I'm not going to let him run away from it. He's not going to be... By the end of this, in a couple minutes, he shouldn't be too afraid of it anymore. But that's why I'm here, to show him that it's not really that bad. And if you touch it, it gets even better because it goes away, right? Now my advanced tarp work, if you will, once he was comfortable with it this way, would be taking it, rubbing it on him, having him walk across it. So we advance through it, but the first step is to touch it. For him to want to touch it is a better way to put that. Distracted, just touch it. There, it goes away. All right, he touched it, barely, but he touched it. And I'm not gonna be, a little bit, I'm walking around with it slightly quiet. I'm not trying to be, but I don't want to be quiet about it. No, I'm losing the tarp now, but it's all right. Tarps do crazy things. All right, so we're following it, and then we stop. This is time to rest. Check it out. Last time he touched it, it went away. We'll see if he'll touch it even sooner this time. Basically, the idea is if you touch it, it goes away, okay? Not always, but that's the first step. Now, something to keep in mind when I'm doing this, I'm keeping my eye on Ronald, because his reaction feeds his reaction. I say that. Now, Ronald's pretty far away, but I say that because he's so worried about what his friend is doing out there that he's going to feed off of Ronald snorting and running. Ronald's out of sight now, but he was just in sight, and he snorted and he turned and ran away. So he will feed off of that at first because he's still worried about that. I'm going to take him a little longer, touch it. I'm not going to immediately take it away, but take it away because I want him to hang out with it. Now, I could make this a 3-hour-long lesson, but I'm not going to. Otherwise, I probably would be moving this around a little bit more. At first, I just want him, good boy. So he touched it once. I'm not going to take it away just yet. Good boy. I want him to just feel comfortable with this scary thing that I'm assuming he's not liked, right? Have you done much in the past with tarps with him?
Yes.
Okay.
But I clearly was doing everything wrong.
Okay.
There used to be a tarp hanging over there
Yeah.
that I would make him stand by and walk by 1,000 times.
Okay.
He has walked on the tarp before,
Okay.
but it was not productive.
Okay. And that's fine. I mean, that's good to know. He's getting just close enough to it not to touch it. Good boy. See? Eventually, with his goofy personality, he'll realize that this is actually fun to play with and bite and nibble on. And to a point, I do allow that, because that means they're playing with it. They're happy, excited, etc. So you have to think too. You said, I've done stuff with a tarp, but I've done it wrong, right? It's good to keep in mind. What's interesting, a lot of people do a lot of things with these scary objects, and they do it wrong because the horse gets scared, and they might, in the moment of them, so if he's doing this to the tarp, and I'm not going to, but I take it away and I say, oh, you're scared. It's okay, sweet baby, calm down, it's okay. That's not going to help the situation. That's praising them for being terrified of something. I want him to feel comfortable with it because I am in control of this scary object, and I can help him get through it, okay? You hear that? That's Ronald out there, snorting. Yep. He is just beside himself. Him tilting his head all funny. He's trying to look at it with the one eye. Ronald's running around. So he's feeding off of a few different things. So since I see Katie's coming in now, but since we have probably just 2 or 3 more minutes, I'm going to put that on the ground. I'm going to ask him to back away from it, okay? I'm going to do a little bit of groundwork, just like 30 seconds to a minute. We're going to go back up to it. Now, there's many, many, many different ways to desensitize your horse to scary things. But this is just one way where you work him away from it, right? Like we did earlier, where we worked him actually by his gate, where we don't want him to be, and take him to a place where he might not want to be. So this is the same concept. We're working him away from the scary thing, and I'm going to take him back to it, okay? When he gets over here, he gets worried about it. I'm going to bump him just a little bit to remind him that, hey, I'm here. You don't have to worry about that scary object. And I'm just going to do a little bit. Right? Stop. Immediately turn around just like I had you do earlier, and we're going to walk back up to it. Good. Now, since he's dancing away from it, I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up. That's terror. He's terrified of it, but he's trying to trust me. Right? It didn't kill him before, so why would it kill him now? But a horse that's really, really, really terrified of it, you're fine, will back up and run away and be all crazy. Okay? He's actually really trying hard to stay here with me. And now he's gonna poop, which is good. That's all right. All right, good boy. So like I said, I want him to touch it, but I'm going to very gently get it a little bit closer to him. Good boy. Right? I'm going to make it, good boy. Yeah. That was a couple good touches there. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to pull it away from him. Now his left eye over here, good boy, is looking out at Ronald. Good boy. So I gave him a little bump. Last thing, the difference here, he can't hide behind me, right? So now I'm dragging it away from him, asking him to follow it. Now he's really got to try to build his confidence. Pressure, don't release until he comes off of that. He's really trying, he's scared, but that's okay. To get over our scared feelings, our uncomfortable feelings, we have to try to overcome them. And that's why I'm here, to help guide him through it, okay? That's why you're here. That's why you work him. That's not going to work. I didn't let go of that. Honestly, if he did pull on me, me and the tarp would be coming with him. He doesn't realize that yet, but pulling's not going to work. He can't get away from it either. So my last thing with him today is I just want him to touch it. Keep his nose at it. When he stops and looks at it, I stop. He can't run away from it, okay? Now there's the other method of working him. So like when it was on the fence, you can work him by it. That's just getting him thinking about you, kind of forgetting about the tarp. But it can be the same concept as work him away from it, bring him back, okay? So that, if you have any questions on that, that's similar to what we're doing, what we did earlier, just a little bit of a different way. Good job. Tarp has a mind of its own. Good boy. Nice. If he will touch it for me, I'm going to ask him to walk away from it and we'll be done. And you can do whatever you need to do with him. But he's trying. He's really trying. Good boy. I'll let him hang out with it just another second. I know I said I'd take him right away, but he's doing really well. Good. That's all right. See, horses will become okay with something like this that doesn't move, but once it starts moving, it's like all hell breaks loose. And notice his head. He's not trying to touch it, but his head's low. Now, if this moved, would it stay there? No. But he's becoming somewhat comfortable with it. Good boy. One more, and then we'll be done. Good boy. That's good. Now, I'm gonna rub you. Good boy. Okay? No, he cannot leave. I ask him to leave, okay? Good. Now I'm going to ask him calmly to back up. And I'm going to turn and walk away. Set yourself up for success. If you are on a time schedule or limit, I wouldn't turn and walk right by it. Because what's he going to do? He's going to jump around it. So I want him to understand that it's my choice to leave. I want it to be his choice to touch it and be okay with it, but my choice to leave. He can't leave, okay? Okay, so I don't know how comfortable you are. We're not going to do anything. You and I aren't going to do anything with the tarp now. But I don't know how comfortable you are working with that. But if you're not, or you want more guidance, obviously we can work more. All these little things are going to build up to that bigger picture we keep talking about, okay? So every little thing you can do, desensitizing to tarps, that's all you have your whip, to a jacket that scares him. You know, any little thing is going to better your success with him because he has to look to you to trust you, okay? So whether it be groundwork, tarps, all the things, riding, okay? You have any questions so far?
I don't think so.
Okay.